Welcome to Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity.
Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Podcast, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Ringside Robert, and England's adopted son, Joe Habib. And we have a great show for you today. And as always, you can catch us on the web at ringsidereporter.com. If you want to call or just ask questions, leave your 2 cents. Call in right now at 323-870-3857. We'll be here till about 9 o'clock tonight. Today, we're going to talk about Let's Go champ Shannon Briggs suspended by the WBA for failing a drug test. How about this, Robert? This is not our train wreck of the week. How about that?
Yeah.
Cincinnati's
Shannon Briggs should consider something else to do after all anyway. But,
I would agree with well, I don't know, man. Hey, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Cincinnati's own Adrien Broner gets ready to annihilate Mikey Garcia this weekend. We'll break it down for you. Everybody on panel agrees with me. It's going to be a whitewash. But first, we get started with this weekend's action, and there wasn't a lot of it, unfortunately. Amanda Serrano defeats Adina Kiss with a third-round TKO to retain her WBO junior featherweight title. Johnny Gonzalez defeated Jesse Rosales by TKO in round 2. I'm not 100% sure that these fights were televised. I didn't see them anywhere. Quite honestly, I probably wouldn't have went out of my way to watch them anyway, but it is what it is. And from Japan, of course, I didn't see these either. Ryoichi Taguchi defeated Robert Barrera by TKO in round 9. Taguchi retains his WBA 108-pound title. Hiroto Kayaguchi defeated Jose Argumedo by unanimous decision to win the 105-pound title. And also, too, there was a fight on this Tuesday as Chris Avalos got a controversial TKO over Miguel Flores. Robert, why don't you talk us through the action there?
Me and Beeb were talking about it before the show, and we both agreed. This was a horrible decision. They ruled that it was a TKO, and they tried to say that Flores got a cut because of a headbutt, and it was because of a punch. I hope they overturn this decision, and I hope there's an immediate rematch as soon as Flores heals, because Flores was winning that fight, and Avalos did not deserve this decision, plain and simple.
There you go.
Well, Robbie, when you say Avalos didn't deserve the decision, if the cut was caused by a punch and he couldn't continue, I mean, it's a TKO.
But they go to the scorecards, Joe, and I don't know how you scored it, but I had Flores winning.
Flores was winning on the cards, but I honestly could not tell, and the referee could not tell, that's why the fight was stopped, whether or not the cut was caused by a headbutt or not. But my question to you is,
well, the referee,
when you saw the replay, because Sergio Mora
said, he said, I didn't see no headbutt, and every time you watched a replay, there was no headbutt there.
I couldn't tell whether or not, like, you saw, heads. I couldn't tell if they were in contact, if they were if the heads grazed each other. You really couldn't tell if there was a significant amount of contact, or if there was any contact, for that matter, in that replay that Sergio Mora was showing. So they were leading the audience to believe, or not even leading the audience to believe, in their opinion, or Sergio Mora's opinion during the broadcast when he was commentating, he said that he thought it was a butt. And then the fighter himself said it was a butt. He's saying, "Come on, ref, don't take this from me. Don't take this from me." So I'm not sure, in defense of the referee, I couldn't tell and he couldn't tell. So if you don't know with 100% certainty what caused it, and you suspect it's a punch, then you got to go with only what you can see. And if you don't see the butt, then you got to go with that. And it's unfortunate because Avalos was losing the fight, and he I'm not gonna say he got lucky, but he was fortunate that the fight ended the way it did, because it looked like he was going to lose on the scorecards if the fight went on, in my opinion.
Right. No, I hope they do it again because Flores, Flores got a bad break, and he, and they ruled it the way they did. So hopefully they'll do it again.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is. And that was this weekend's action, man. So not a whole lot going on. That was a Tuesday fight, and of course we ran down the weekend fights. Barren, completely desolate action this weekend. However, this next weekend, it's going to make up for it. July 28th, from Shanghai, China. Robert, get ready for it. It's your boy, Zhu Shiming versus Sho Kimura, 12 rounds for Zhu's WBO flyweight title. And that's on Friday. It doesn't look to be televised, so you probably have to catch it on YouTube or something like that. July 29th on ESPN2. That's Saturday. Saddam Ali versus Johan Perez. Is this going to be on the same time as the Showtime card?
Not 100% sure.
Jeez. Saddam Ali versus Johan Perez, 10 rounds welterweights. Eddie Gomez versus Alejandro Barrera, 8 rounds welterweights. Why on earth would they put this the same time as that Showtime? What idiots. Seriously, why would they?
Oscar De La Hoya. That's a Golden Boy card.
That's completely moronic, son. Wow. Wow, yeah, he knows how to it says same day tape. So hopefully that means they're probably going to delay it too. So I don't know.
Yeah, they might delay it till after the card. I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, they should not interfere with that card, man. They really shouldn't. Not because we don't have, TiVo or anything like that. I'm just saying,
right.
I mean, it'd be stupid to go head to head with this card. This card is stacked. All right.
Right.
Showtime. Saturday. Adrien Broner versus Mikey Garcia, 12 rounds, junior welterweights. This is in Brooklyn. Jermel Charlo versus Jorge Sebastian Hyland, 12 rounds, WBC middleweight eliminator. Jarrell Big Baby Miller versus Gerald Washington, 10 rounds heavyweights. Katie Taylor versus the dreaded TBA, 8 rounds female lightweights. I'm really excited to see Katie Taylor on that card. The fact that she's coming here, and kind of building her brand out here, I think that's great, man. She's a huge name.
I hope they put something like that on Show Extreme, Eric.
I hope so too. Let me tell you who should be on the main card, should be the co-main event. Rasheed Warren from Cincinnati's own champion. Rasheed Warren versus McJoe Arroyo, 12 rounds, the IBF junior bantamweight eliminator. I tell you what, man, I like that fight. I like that fight a lot, man. McJoe Arroyo is no stiff, man. He's a good fighter. So the same night on BN Sports, Annabelle Ortiz versus Nancy Franco for Ortiz's WBA women's strawweight title. Let's see what else we got here. Is this, and you know what? I don't know if maybe the schedule's wrong. I don't know. Because there's no hype going behind this at all. From Belfast, Northern Ireland, there's no TV or anything on this. Maybe it's on Box Nation. Carl Frampton versus Andres Gutierrez, 12 rounds for the WBC featherweight eliminator. Beeb, have you heard of anything about this fight?
Okay,
I have not. This is the first time I'm hearing about it, and I'm excited about it if it's true. I'm assuming it's true if you're reporting it. So yeah, I'm excited about it, but I have not heard about it.
Sounds like it's a tune-up, like some kind of tune-up fight. Right. But yeah, we just updated the schedule today. Let me just double check here just to make sure. Yeah. But I mean, let's see. Let me just double check it here.
And I believe CBS Sports Network is also supposed to have some kind of card on Saturday.
Yeah, so Belfast, Northern Ireland, Carl Frampton versus Andres Gutierrez, 12 rounds. Patty Gallagher versus Ricardo Silva, 10 rounds welterweights on that card also. And then July 30th, that's the Sunday, Bakersfield, California, PBC on Fox Sports, Victor Ortiz versus Saul Corral, 10 rounds welterweights. Justin Deloach versus Fernando Guerrero, 10 rounds junior middleweights. And there you go. That's this weekend's action. Money Powell the fourth is also on that card. on the PBC card. I don't think we'll see him, but he comes in with a lot of hype. He's only fighting like a 4-rounder. He comes in with a lot of hype, man. So I'm really excited to see this kid go. He's already had a couple of pro fights, I believe.
We'll get to watch that probably after next Sunday's show.
Yeah. I mean, he's had a couple of pro fights so far, and everybody says this kid's good, man. So we'll see. I'm excited to see him. But before we go any further, let's go ahead and talk about the big fight on that card. The big fight. Let's see here on New York on Showtime. Adrien Broner versus Mikey Garcia. I tell you what, man, this is a really tough fight, man. I like Broner a lot. But, being from Cincinnati, he's from Cincinnati, but I tell you what, Mikey Garcia is a tough guy. He's come back. I mean, he had a big layoff. He's coming back off a big layoff, but he's had 2 fights, so he should be right there. I don't think, none of that layoff is not going to matter at all. This is a tough one, but I tell you what, the size belongs to Adrien Broner. He's a bigger guy. Bronner's going to be the stronger guy. He's used to fighting at welterweight. He's coming down a little bit. He's like Canelo weight from 140 to 147. That's kind of where he fights. Bronner's bigger. He's stronger. And I believe he's faster. And I believe, his back's against the wall in this fight. I think you're going to see a different Adrien Broner come out. I think you're going to see a hungry Adrien Broner come out because I think he knows his back's against the wall in this fight. And I think he wins this fight just based on dictating the range. I think that I think Garcia is going to have a lot of problems with his movement. I think Garcia is going to have a lot of problems trying to find Broner. Broner's very elusive when he wants to be, and he hits really hard when he wants to. My pick is going to be Adrien Broner by unanimous decision. I think he gets back on the winning track. Robert, I know you agree with me. I just need you to
totally
let him know.
What?
I disagree.
I totally disagree. I think Mikey Garcia's experience in bigger fights and tougher fights, his boxing skills, his power is going to be a problem, no pun intended, for Broner. And I think Mikey Garcia will either get a late stoppage or win a decision. I don't see Mikey just folding over and letting the problem win this. I think Mikey will come out on top, and the future looks bright for him.
You are such a homer. You always pick the California guy. Always. You're such a homer. I never pick the Cincinnati guy. I'm always objective. But you, sir, you always pick the California guy. Beeb schooling.
Eric, sorry. I'm so sorry about this, but I think so much in this fight is being made about 2 things here. We're going to see the old Adrien Broner. Well, maybe there is no old Adrien Broner. Maybe the Adrien Broner that we have right now is just that. This is the Adrien Broner we have. So this old Adrien Broner that people talk about, I have to be honest, and the guy's got some talent. He's definitely got some talent. He's really has those fast twitch muscle fibers. He's explosive puncher. But there's a lot of things that, he just doesn't do well, or he just doesn't want to do well. I don't think he moves a lot at all. I think he tends to plant his feet a lot, and he likes to try to, lean away from shots, pull back, likes to try to lean back and kind of suck you forward, and tries to, get you to, run into some counter punches from him. And then sometimes when his opponent isn't, falling for those traps, isn't taking the lead, a lot of times he'll get reckless and try to leap in with those wide left hooks. And sometimes he's able to, land them against guys who aren't as athletically gifted as him, who aren't as quick as him, aren't exceptional defensive fighters. But I've always noticed when he steps it up a little bit, he's not able to get away with some of that stuff that he does against the guys who are upper level. Every time he seems to step it up to that next level, it doesn't always, get met with success. And I think this is one of those occasions where, you could sit there and say, well, who's Mikey Garcia fought? Some solid guys, but neither one of these guys really has fought standing elite type opponent. And, you know, Adrien Broner made a statement, if Mikey Garcia fought the same guys I fought, would he be undefeated? That's a good question. But I think because of the way Mikey Garcia fights, the way he approaches fights, you know, he's always in shape. Seems like he takes his career serious. And if you look at Mikey Garcia, you know, he's just a well-rounded fighter all around. He can counterpunch, he can take the lead. And when I say counterpunch, you have two types of counterpunchers. You have guys who wait for their opponent to make the mistake, and you have guys who can create those mistakes, can create those openings. And Mikey Garcia at creating openings, while Adrien Broner, he either likes to wait for that opening, and then if the opening is not there, he tends to get a little bit over anxious and sometimes reckless, and he takes chances. So when his opponent is not going to fall for his traps, when he's not able to play the counterpunch role, I think he becomes impatient, and you know, in the process of being impatient, gets over anxious and somewhat reckless. So Garcia, like I said, he's just a real cerebral type fighter. He can create those openings. He'll lull you into that false sense of security. He'll throw a couple soft jabs out there, little feeler type jabs. Get his opponent to security that, you know what, he's just throwing a soft jab at me. He's not really stepping in with it. Get him thinking maybe he's a little bit tentative. Maybe he doesn't want to commit to throwing a strong hard jab. So once that comfort level sets in with the opponent, then he'll maybe thinks, you know, I'll parry this down a bit and I'll come over the top of my right hand. And just when, you know, you get lulled into that false security, then he starts hard one. You know, so you're anticipating a soft one, then he'll switch up the rhythm and throw a hard one. Or he'll get you to kind of, you know, parry it down and confident with yourself. And then once you get that false confidence, you'll step in, try to throw a right hand, and automatically he'll come back with a left hook. So he has a way of creating the openings. Patient, but he's persistent. When I say persistent, once he gets you hurt, finisher. He doesn't get reckless. He just sets, you know, everything will always flow off the jab. He'll vary up the attack. He's not afraid to go downstairs to the body. And, you know, he can win this fight in many ways. I mean, he never really gets outside of himself. Never really see him get frustrated in their fight where, like I said, Adrien Broner will get frustrated. He fought Adrian Granados' fight. So, you know, Adrien Granados put a lot of pressure on him. Marcos Maidana put a lot of pressure on him. Mikey Garcia may not put that pressure on him. But the thing is, once he gets him hurt, up and he will go in for the kill. And, you know, with Adrien Granados and with Marcos Maidana, for the traps. So, you know, Adrien Granados may not be the most slickest guy in the world, may not be the most skilled guy in the world, but he can put shots together. He can throw really good fluid combinations. He's a guy that will just be relentless with pressure. So it's hard to counter a guy like that who's basically throwing a hailstorm of punches at you. When Adrien Broner is taken out of his comfort level, when he's forced to fight at a faster pace than he likes, doesn't seem to be successful. And also, when a guy is not falling for his traps and, you know, he can't suck them into making a mistake, he himself, as I said, not to sound redundant, he becomes a little bit over anxious, and then he starts taking chances. And when he takes those chances, he leaves himself open. So Mikey Garcia has a lot of ways to win this fight. He can be the aggressor. He can be the counter puncher. Aggressor, he employs smart pressure, smart aggressiveness. Where, again, as I said, you got that reckless pressure or that reckless aggressiveness, that frustration type aggressiveness that Adrien Broner will bring to the table. So this fight really boils down to, you know, who makes the first mistake, and when they make that mistake, that fighter pay for that mistake. So Mikey Garcia doesn't usually make mistakes. Real solid, intelligent type fight throughout. So I don't think Adrien Broner is going to suck him into anything or trick him into anything. Whereas I think Garcia can do just the opposite to Adrien Broner. I think Adrien Broner will make that first mistake, and I think people are going to be surprised when he does make that mistake, when Garcia makes him pay for that mistake, I think Garcia can hurt him. I think Garcia is a much harder puncher than a lot of people give him credit for. If he's stone cold knocking guys drop dead with punches at 130, 135, I'm sure he's going to be able to cover, bring some of that power up to 140. And I think he's a big guy himself. He's 5'7". I think he's grew out of 130 very easily. I think he grew out of 126. I think this is just a natural progression in weight for him. He's getting older. His body's going to retain more weight. And I think because he's not going to have to really kill himself to make weight in this fight, I think you're going to see a strong Mikey Garcia. I think you're going to see a sharp Mikey Garcia. And I think Garcia stops Adrien Broner late in this fight. I'm going to say he stops him within 10 or 11 rounds. I think people are going to just be surprised that this is really not a big man versus a little man. This is a slightly bigger man, slightly smaller man, but the slightly smaller man can more than make up for that slight disadvantage in size with skill and power. So, if Adrien Broner decides to lay back or whatever, Garcia will just beat him with volume. He'll just pick away and just – but I don't think that Adrien Broner is going to allow that to happen. I think once he starts seeing that I'm getting outboxed there, frustrated and aggressive, and that's when he's going to open up wildly and make that mistake, and Garcia is going to make him pay for it. So that's why I'm going to say Garcia stops him late in this fight. I'm going to say Garcia 10th round stoppage.
All right, so I got to take, I got to take umbrage with a couple things he said here. The people that beat Adrien Broner, you're looking at Sean Porter and you're looking at Marcos Maidana. All right. And you're also, you can throw Adrien Granados in that mix too. Adrien Granados didn't beat him, but he gave him a lot of problems.
Ponce de Leon, Paulie Malignaggi.
Paulie Malignaggi did not beat him. That was a clear 112 fight.
But it was a 7-5 fight, possibly even a draw, arguably.
Or 8-4.
I had it 7-5, and arguably it could have been a draw. I know a lot of people had it a draw, or some people had Malignaggi winning. But the thing that Malignaggi did was he didn't fall for the traps, and he kept peppering away with the jab, and he kept touching him. Garcia is that same type of guy. I don't mean to cut you up, but I just want to slide this point in real quick. When I say guys that create openings, they create openings because they're constantly touching you and getting you to react to what they're doing. So Garcia is basically mastered that art of just touching, forcing you to react to things. And then once he picks up on the rhythm of what you're doing, starts collecting that data, saying, if I do this, I'm noticing he's dipping this way. So let me do this and let him dip this way, and I'm going to meet him with the hook. I think he brings that to the table. Malignaggi brought a little bit of that to the table, but he did not have the power to make Adrien Broner pay. So I think Malignaggi touched Broner a lot in that fight, but just didn't have the power that Garcia has. So Garcia is going to touch him, and he's going to hurt him. That's going to be the difference. But go ahead, finish.
See, I think that the only problems, the only people that give Broner any type of trouble in that ring are those pressure fighters, like a Sean Porter, like a Marcos Maidana, like an Adrien Granados. Those guys are going to give him problems. Garcia's not that guy. And where
can be that guy.
He talked about it like, who has he fought? I mean, look at Garcia's record. I mean, seriously, who has this guy fought?
Again, fought solid guys. Fought solid guys.
World-class guys, though. Solid.
But see, the eye test, honestly, I got to be honest with you. It's like a much more skilled fighter than Adrien Broner. And that's not a knock on Adrien Broner, because he's a skilled fighter as well. But he's more of an athletically gifted guy, where Garcia has a mix of both. He's athletic because he's patient enough to basically systematically open you up, systematically break you down. Whereas Adrien Broner wants to be that slam, bam, thank you, ma'am type guy. He gets impatient. He's used to hitting guys and having them go away. And that's what happened in the lighter weight classes. And went up to the higher weight classes, and that wasn't happening anymore, so there was no plan B. Garcia, he's patient, but he's persistent. Once he hurts a guy, he takes him right out of it. He doesn't let him off the hook. That's the difference. Whereas I think Garcia, when you give him the eye test, The resume test, neither guy has an advantage. But in the eye test, I think Garcia brings much more weapons to the table than Adrien Broner. Adrien Broner just does not bring he's just not patient in the air. He wants to get by on his own on athletic ability. He wants to suck you into traps, and I think he overestimates his defense because a lot of times he thinks he can just stand in front of you and lean away from shots, and pull away like a la Vitaly Klitschko or Vladimir Klitschko. But I don't think he's able to do that on a consistent basis. I've seen him try to do that against more elite fighters, and they know he's going to do it, so they just step forward and they gauge the range a little bit better. Guys who aren't quick enough to make him pay for that, guys who aren't skilled enough to make him pay for that. I mean, look at Adrien Granados. I mean, that fight was razor close. I mean, he should have beat Adrien Granados easily. And I just think he overestimates his athletic ability, and I think he's starting to lose a step a little bit. And I think a lot of times he misjudges, where he is in the ring. I don't think he's great at gauging range. That's a big problem with him. I don't think he's great at gauging range. I mean, he leaned away from a punch from Marcos Maidana, and Marcos Maidana a bit and still hit him with it. And he was like, how did this guy hit me with the shot? Guys know what you're going to do. If a guy anticipates that, hey, this guy's just going to lean straight back, they're just going to say, all I have to do is take one more half step forward before I punch, and boom. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think Garcia is smart enough, and he's that type of guy that can pick up on, habits and characteristics in the ring. I think he's a much more cerebral fighter than Adrien Broner, in my opinion.
See, I don't know, man. I think go ahead.
And remember one thing, Eric. Who was Marcos Maidana's trainer? Robert Garcia. Who was Mikey Garcia's
Who cares?
trainer?
That doesn't matter.
Robert
I mean, they're
Garcia.
but they're two different styles, two different.
Get him, Robbie! Get him, Robbie!
Two different styles, two different fighters. Let me tell you something right now. Adrien Broner has more ways to win than Mikey Garcia.
No way.
He's bigger, he's stronger,
No.
he's faster, and he's going to put it on him. And not to mention, he's fought better combination. He fought better.
No, their resumes are similar. I mean,
similar.
They're similar in the fact that Marcos Maidana, when Adrien Broner fought him, he was a good fighter. No one thought he was elite. No one thinks Sean Porter's elite. Sean Porter is a very good fighter. Marcos Maidana is a very good fighter, but they're not great. They're not elite. So no. Garcia fought Salido. Garcia fought Salido. He fought.
Is he still around?
Fought Rocky Martinez.
Come on, Rocky Martinez. He fought Rocky Martinez back in 2013.
He fought decent. He fought guys that are good.
Bars back then.
He fought legitimate. He fought legitimate good fighters, and Adrien Broner fought legitimate good fighters.
So, yeah.
But let's face facts. Every time he stepped it up, he lost. And then he
hasn't stepped it up though. That's my point. And he's got a good point. He said if he's fought everybody I fought, would he be undefeated? 100% no. 100%
maybe not. Maybe not.
We'll never know because he never stepped up his game.
Marcos Maidana has sparred with him several times and says he hits like a truck.
Yeah, have you seen Marcos Maidana lately? He has no business in there sparring. Kidding me?
No, I'm not saying he sparred him recently. He sparred him when Marcos Maidana was active.
Yeah,
so he knows.
Conor McGregor hits like a truck too. It doesn't matter. It's not going to matter.
If Adrien Broner can't get away from Adrien Granados' punches, you think he's going to get away from Mikey Garcia's punches?
Adrien Granados, again, different types of fighters.
Okay.
Different types of fighters.
Who's the better fighter, though, Eric? Adrien Granados or Mikey Garcia?
I think Garcia's a better fighter. I think Garcia's
much better fighter. But you're getting this.
But combat math doesn't work. Just because fighter A beat fighter B doesn't mean fighter C is going to beat fighter A. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it does because you know why? Because you know why? Name one thing Adrien Granados can do that Mikey Garcia can't.
Pressure. That kind of
Mikey
pressure.
Garcia can do that. I've seen Mikey
Garcia fight with that kind of intensity and pressure.
I will say I will correct you. Go back and watch the Orlando Salido fight, right? Orlando Salido is a guy who likes to impose his will on guys, right? He's the pressure guy, right? And Mikey Garcia, as the fight wore on, he started walking Orlando Salido back. Who walks Orlando Salido down? And Orlando Salido, right? When Gamboa fought Orlando Salido,
years old.
Gamboa boxed him. Orlando Salido basically Gamboa boxed him. He went in and out. He didn't push him back and walk him back. Okay, Orlando Salido made Gamboa fight, whereas Mikey Garcia walked Orlando Salido down in that fight and beat him up physically. See what I'm saying? Mikey Garcia can do what Adrien Granados does. He just doesn't come out of the gate doing it. Once he works his way into the fight, once he softens you up, then he starts walking you down. This guy is patient but persistent. You're going to see that. He's going to stop Broner. He's going to stop Broner. You watch.
He knows no way he's going to stop Broner. Come on.
I'll make a bet right here he stops him. I'll do one of my that he stops him. He's going to stop him.
You're on. He's going
to stop him.
You're on.
You did. I told you Andre Wood was going to stop Kovalev. You laughed at me. Andre Wood's going to stop Kovalev. You didn't believe me. When are you guys going to believe? When?
No way he stops Broner, son. No way. You're on. It's on. You got it. We got to bet. No way.
He's going to get frustrated. He's going to get cocky. He's going to get pissed off. Then he's going to start leaping him with those left hooks. And Mikey Garcia is going to go with that dart of a right hand that he has. This guy can hit like a truck, man.
Let me just.
I wouldn't want to meet this guy. I wouldn't want to meet this guy in an alley.
Let me pose a serious question to you, though.
Absolutely.
Don't you ever get tired of getting pied in the face? Because you.
Why? I haven't done. One time. On a bad decision.
A bad decision.
One time on a bad decision. Danny Jacobs won that, but you know, I cannot revert back to the Georgie ways of calling fights robberies. That fight could have gone either way. I lost that bet by the skin of my ass. I'm not going to call that. That was a close fight. Golovkin, you can't argue Golovkin getting this.
I thought
it was a good bet.
I thought Jacobs beat him in that fight, though.
Shame at losing that bet.
No, not at all. That was a close one. Very close. Very close. But you will be ashamed on Saturday losing this bet.
Well,
all right.
We'll see.
The undercard here. Jermall Charlo versus Jorge Sebastian Hyland. Beeb, I like this fight. What do you think about this fight? I think it's a good fight for Charlo, but I like it. What do you think?
It's okay, but I think he steamrolls him, to be honest with you. I love these Charlo brothers. I really do. And I say that with all due respect to Hyland. I just can't see Hyland winning. But again, you know, I'm always willing to be pleasantly surprised if it turns out better than what I think. Then hey, but I think Charlo steamrolls.
Yeah, I think so. I think Charlo wins. What about you, Robert? What do you think about that one?
I like Charlo, and this is his middleweight debut, so it'll be interesting to see what he looks like in there. And it'll also be interesting to see going forward what kind of threat Charlo becomes in the middleweight division.
Yeah. The next one is really interesting. Jarrell Big Baby Miller versus Gerald Washington. I got to say, man, Washington's good, man. I like Washington. Big Baby, they're hyping him up. You kind of wonder if he's going to come in shape. You kind of wonder if Washington can take him some rounds. This could get it.
I love that fight.
This is a real interesting fight, man. I'm going to tell you right now, if Washington takes him to the 5th round, this could be a long fight for Miller.
Ask me who wins this fight.
I will not.
The problem I have,
because I don't know.
I have with Miller is he never shows up in shape. He always eats too much, and he always comes in like 275, 280. If he wants to be an effective heavyweight, he's got to be at least 250 to 260. And you know,
what does he come in at? 3 something?
Over 270?
Yeah.
If he comes in over 270, Washington will win this fight. If he actually comes in, say 255, somewhere around there, it might be a competitive fight. But looking at it on paper without knowing how much he's going to weigh on Friday, I would take Washington in this fight because Miller, he's got the skills. He's a good fighter, but he never shows up in shape.
That's the other thing with Miller. He's got all the skills. He's got all the intangibles. He just doesn't look like he comes in shape. You know, I mean, that's my big thing with him, you know. Beeb, do you think, I mean, Miller has a shot here. What do you think about this? Is a good test for him, though.
You know, he doesn't. In other words, when you can't judge a book by its cover,
Right.
because when you look at him, when you look at him, he doesn't look like much. He looks like a guy who's out of shape, but he can fight. And I haven't seen any fatigue problems. Could there be fatigue problems? We don't know because he really hasn't gone rounds. So it's a big question mark. Robbie does raise some good points. It raises some good questions. I just can't automatically look at a guy, right, and say because he's heavy, he's not going to be able to go rounds. Because I've seen a lot of heavy guys. Buster Douglas,
Joe Hip. You remember Joe Hip?
Chris Arreola, he still has good. Chris Arreola's not the greatest fighter, but they still have pretty decent stamina because they can get away with it. They can get away with it. So in other words, he's not your average 280-pound guy walking down the street. I mean, the average 280-pound guy walking down the street who's 6 feet or under, and he's not really muscular. That guy's an out of shape guy. I mean, it's just the way it is. He's not your average guy. I mean, he seems very quick for his size. Got quick hands, skills. He's got a great jab. Puts shots together very well. So, based off of looking at him, I wouldn't think he could fight as well as he can fight. So, if I'm gonna, be fooled in that regard, so I just can't automatically assume that he can't go rounds because he's heavy, because he's already proven the eye test wrong. I mean, he fights better than you would think he could fight by looking at him. So maybe he has more stamina too. I don't know. But I will say one thing: as he gets older, he's not going to be able to carry that weight and get away with it. Maybe right now he can. So that's why I'm sitting there saying to myself, I just can't assume that he's not going to do well in the later rounds just because he's heavy.
Yeah, that's a good point too. That's a good point. I mean, like you said, we've seen like Buster Douglas, Joe Hip, a lot of big guys who can go the distance. Remember
Andrew Ruiz,
Buster Mathis?
Buster Mathis.
Yeah.
Andrew Ruiz can go rounds, and he's
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. So a lot of these guys go
sometimes
hard, but yeah.
Sometimes you just can't look at this guy and say he looks out of shape.
Yeah,
and he is out of. And then here's the flip side to that too. Some guys look like a body beautiful, but they still don't have good stamina because there's always exceptions to the rule. That's just the way. And the average boxer in the ring who's a top 10 contender, he is an exception to the rule because only a handful of people can do what he does. So these guys are exceptions to the rule. They can do things and get away with it. So that we wouldn't be able to do,
right.
So
right.
If I was 280, I wouldn't be able to walk up a flight of stairs. So this is the way it is.
Yeah. Katie Taylor making her American debut here versus the dreaded TBA. They'll announce that soon, I'm sure. So real excited to see her. And then Rasheed Warren versus McJoe Arroyo, 12 rounds for the IBF Junior Bantamweight Eliminator. I like Rasheed in this. I just think he's faster. My big knock on Rasheed Warren is he's just got to get busier. He's got to throw more punches. He's got
the words right out of my mouth.
That's the thing, man, and that's the big knock on Broner too. He's got to throw more. They've got to throw more punches. If they're not throwing more punches, he could be in for some trouble. He's not going to be in for trouble with McJoe Arroyo. I'm talking about when he steps up again and he gets another shot or whatever. But you figure at this stage of his career, can he put that together? I don't know.
That's another big problem with Broner in this fight. If he doesn't throw punches,
Garcia's got to throw a lot of punches in this fight. Yeah, for sure.
Garcia can outwork him.
Yeah. So Rasheed Warren, I think he wins. He beats McJoe Arroyo. What about you, Beeb? What do you think about this fight?
No, I like Warren this fight too.
Yeah, I do. What about you?
I agree with you.
No, this will be a unanimous decision here.
Yeah.
Although Mike Stafford needs to teach his fighters throw more punches, and so far from the evidence we've seen, he has not been able to do that. He's got to change.
Mike Stafford.
He's got to change the way he's got to change the way he trains his fighters, or his fighters won't be successful anymore.
I mean, here's the thing: he could tell him only so much. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like he hasn't heard the criticism. You could tell him so much. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, because he's a good trainer. I know he's a good trainer.
But do you think he's a force in that corner? Because to me,
no, No, I don't.
He seems too late.
In fact, Stafford doesn't train Warren anymore, I don't believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he switched over to the Headbangers gym. I believe. I'm not 100%.
I don't like the way Stafford handles Adrien Broner. Like he handles him like with kid gloves.
Yeah.
Adrien Broner, he needs someone that's gonna get in his ass, man.
Yeah. I think like
remember Emmanuel Stewart? Stewart, like when he would be training like Vladimir Klitschko? Come on, you gotta go out there, you gotta go out there, you gotta do that.
I remember the Lennox Lewis Tyson fight with Stewart in the corner. How animated.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got this little 5'7" guy, 6'6", 250 pounds. Come on, you gotta move. You gotta get in there. Right. You're not fucking. He'd be swearing at him. You're not fucking doing anything. Get in his face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I really.
Adrien Broner needs somebody like that.
Yeah.
I think.
I think so too. I think he needs like a Joe Goosen. I think would do really well with Braun.
Oh yeah.
I think because Joe Goosen is very calm, but he's very authoritative. And I think that that would be a very good match for him. But who knows? Who knows? Let's go to the phones now. 708. 708, you are live.
Gentlemen, what's going on, Robbie?
What's up?
Robbie, how you doing? Beeb, the host with the most, Eric. How's everybody doing tonight?
What's happening, man?
I was gonna call last week, but Beeb was on fire. I don't know. I didn't want no part of that last week.
We let Beeb out of the cage last week. We let Beeb out of the cage.
I missed a dose of my medication, and you see what happens. You see what happens. Give me my medication last week.
That's what it is. We let him out of the cage, son. Just like Chris Algieri. We let him out of the cage.
But that was entertaining, even though we were talking about the Blob. So it was entertaining. I'll give that to you. But yeah, we got some good fighting. By the way, Frampton is fighting this weekend. He's fighting in Belfast.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not going to be on TV, so probably going to have to stream it. But he is fighting. So looking forward to seeing that.
And that's got to be a tune-up fight. That's got to be a tune-up fight for him for the Gary Russell fight. Because,
I would
it's got to be. Because otherwise they would have televised it,
Right. They want to get him back in the win column before they get him in there with Russell, I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
But, that's probably the only thing. They just want to wash that Leo Santa Cruz taste out of everybody's mouth and get him a win, and then get him in there with Gary Russell Jr. I'm imagining that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But this week we got some good fights this weekend. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Excuse me 1 second. I'm pulling the brakes on my truck here. All right. Now I can talk. But we got I think with that heavyweight fight, I don't know. To me, it's a football player versus a boxer. I think Big Baby's gonna. It'll probably be a good fight for about 4 or 5 rounds, and Big Baby, I think, knocks him out late. It's just been shown. I mean, guys who started boxing late versus guys who are natural boxers their whole lives, it just the instincts take over later on.
John, I would agree. I would agree with you, but I consider Big Baby's weight a major issue. Although Beeb brought up some good points, until I see the evidence that he, to me, when somebody comes in weighing that much, they're not serious about their careers. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't like it when a guy like that comes in at like 280 for a heavyweight fight. 250, 260, I could see it, but anything past that, it gets me concerned how effective they're going to be. The problem is he hasn't been faced with any kind of serious competition to see what he actually has. Not that Washington's going to present it, but at least whenever Gerald Washington has been in the ring, he's always been competitive, even though he's lost.
It's very true, but I think it goes back to instincts. When you've been trained in the gym since a young child, opposed to when you have to actually think in the ring, I think it does weigh on you, and it does cause stamina problems. When you're not reacting naturally, when you're thinking about things, whereas we're Big Baby, he's just naturally doing it. And I think it comes almost like it just comes as instinct. He doesn't have to work as hard. Where his stamina issues won't be as prevalent, I believe. I mean, I'm with you on that. I think if he came in at 260, he'd be a heck of a lot more effective. But I still think in this fight in particular, I just think that's going to be one of the major things. I like Washington. I mean, a big, strong guy. He looks like he can box. He was doing a number on Deontay Wilder till he got caught, but I just think Miller's just going to outbox him and stop him late. That's just the way I see it. A boxer versus a football player.
Yeah, well, you might be right. But it'll be an interesting fight before the main event. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. And then What's the second fight on the card? Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Jamal Charlo? Yeah. I like Jamal Charlo better than Jamel. This kid, he's a top 5 pound-for-pound future fighter, in my opinion. I mean, he just looks terrific. He's big, he's strong, he's long. The way he took out his last opponent, I mean, with that uppercut, just that little short half step back and whipped his head back with that uppercut. This fight's going to be just a showcase fight, and I would love to see him versus the winner of Golovkin versus Canelo. That would be something. I don't think Canelo will go anywhere near him. Golovkin will fight him, I'm pretty sure, but I think De La Hoya will stare Canelo, take every opportunity. And then plus that whole thing with the WBC, where this is an eliminator for the WBC, Canelo's not even going to pick up, if he does win, he's not even going to pick up the WBC strap. He's just going to leave it out there. So I think if Canelo wins, Charlo will be fighting somebody else for that WBC strap. If Triple G wins, we're gonna have some pretty good fights to look forward to, I think. In that middleweight division, Charlo looks like the real deal to me. I mean, his brother looks good, but Jamal, he looks like the real deal to me. I think he's a top 5 pound-for-pound talent within the next 2-3 years, in my opinion. And then that main event, oh, man, I cannot wait. And Eric, I was agreeing with you 100%. And when I used to fight, there was something I used to do. I used to look at people. You could look at their bone structure. You look at their body types. You look at different things, and you can almost tell what you're going to do with them by that. I saw a picture of Broner, and I saw a picture of Garcia just recently from probably the past couple days. And Beeb, your breakdown was spot on, in my opinion.
This guy's the best caller ever. I love this guy.
And Broner looked gout. Broner just looked bad.
You think so? Shredded.
I was trying to tell Eric that. He's shredded if they stop without Eric. Anyone could be shredded.
His abs don't look the same. His chest looks sunk in.
He's flat. He looks flat.
Broner's a stout guy. He just didn't look the same to me. And Garcia, Mikey, man, his arms are. That boy is big for. I mean,
he's
I'll tell you this. I saw Broner a couple of weeks ago, and he looks good. He looked ready for this fight. That's for sure.
Looks good. It looks good if you think someone would believe you. It looks good. I mean, come on.
In person.
Oh, okay. I mean, so yeah, you'd have a better shot than a picture. I mean, the pictures, they don't always do justice.
Right.
The picture that I saw.
Deal.
With the odds, I was about to lay some money on Broner. But after I saw the picture, I said, nope, I'm not even.
Can't do it
because I like to
take the stoppage position, Mikey Garcia. We'll get paid. Don't worry about it.
I'm with you. I think, and my opinion has changed. I think Garcia stops in about 10 or 11 rounds. I think
Deal is the best caller we have. He's the best caller we have by far.
I think he catches him late.
Well, John, I'm glad you came over to the winning side.
The winning side.
Hey, I came over to the winning side when you guys jumped ship with Eric and are over here.
Can I ask you a question? Let me jump in here. Let me ask you a quick question. Are you going to enjoy watching Beeb take a pie to the face on Saturday?
Hey, I like pie, so you know what? I take a pie in the face. It ain't gonna be no big deal.
And it's gonna be a Boston cream pie.
Eric,
sliding
this guy,
face. Bouncing it right off his nose.
Adrien Broner is a thick guy. He's barrel chested,
and that'll be hard to clean off. Definitely hard to clean off.
Adrien Broner is a thick guy. He's barrel chested. He's stocky. When you take a guy like that and you starve him down, what's he look like? He looks like a deflated balloon.
Son.
He looks
telling
flat.
You.
He looks flat. His face is sunken in.
When I've seen Broner working, he's looking a lot more flat-footed, and to me, that's just going to play into Mikey Garcia's hands. I mean,
exactly, Dale. Tell him, Dale.
He has tremendous hand speed, but he's flat-footed. And I think people underestimate Mikey Garcia's power. I mean, this guy.
That's what I said, Dale. That's what I said.
And I just have a feeling. I mean, look, Broner is the bigger guy. He's bigger. He's quicker. He may be a little physically stronger, but as far as punching power, I think Garcia punches a little harder. I think he's more balanced. He has better timing. That's why. I mean, in boxing, it's timing. It's timing, torque, leverage. That's where the power comes from, and I think Mikey Garcia is just that combination. Mikey Garcia is one of the better boxers in boxing today, and I have to, like I said, I was leaning towards you, Eric, for quite some time, but I got to change my ways, and I'm going Mikey Garcia late stoppage.
Once people hear the Beeb breakdowns,
I appreciate it.
It's impossible to go against them.
No, your breakdown was spot on. It's poetry listening to you break down a fight, Beeb. I give it to you on that.
Thank you, brother.
I give it to you on that. You can break.
Everyone wants to sit there and say size. I mean, I know people that are 160 pounds that can throw me around like I'm a sack of potatoes. Size doesn't mean everything.
Well, I could go back to the old Gerald Washington versus Big Baby. I'm 5'6". I only weighed 135 pounds. There wasn't a football player 275 pounds that could lick me. You know, so
I believe it, Dale. I believe it.
So, and I know I knew guys in the gym that were 112 pounds that I wouldn't want to tail with.
That's
so
what I'm trying to tell you.
Much of a difference. It's how you.
Tell you that, man.
It's a shame that you three boys are going to go home disappointed on Saturday, man. I hate seeing that, but you know, hey, it is what it is.
2017 has been the best year in boxing. Win or lose, we're all winning.
Yeah,
so that's all I got.
Absolutely, good fight
coming up, and
good fight.
Even Mayweather, even Mayweather McGregor. I thought this was I was pissing on the fight, but now after seeing the promos for the fight and everything in the tour, I'm fired up for this fight.
I am too.
I'm buying it, Dale. I'm buying it.
We have good fight.
Robbie's buying it. Eric's buying it. Robbie's gonna buy it.
I'm buying it too.
Robbie's gonna buy it.
I'm gonna buy it, and I'm budgeting money. I gotta have some mama don't know money, so my wife's not getting too mad because I'm buying both fights. I'm buying and Canelo, and I'm buying the McGregor Mayweather fight.
Has anybody heard what the price is on that Triple G Canelo fight?
I have no idea.
How much is it?
I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. I could be mistaken. Between 70 and 79 for the HP.
Well, you know what? That's a price worth paying.
It's worth paying. It's not worth paying.
I agree with that fight, definitely.
I mean, I'm going to buy it, but $80 for a pay-per-view is too much.
Robbie, if I gave you $100 and I told you to pick one, I know you would take McGregor.
For sure, he's taking McGregor.
I'm serious. Probably be 69.
To be honest with you, this is total speculation. I think that the price ends up being $70. I think they're going to lower it. Like they usually. I think the high. I'm talking about high def will be $7. I bet you they lower the pay-per-view $10.
They're gonna have to.
Because they're gonna see what if Mayweather McGregor does like 5 million pay-per-view buys, right? They're gonna lower the cost by like $10. I bet you. Speculation, but that's my prediction.
I definitely
honestly, I think the Triple G Canelo fight is going to be a much better fight, so I'll pay it no matter what the price is.
So you watching May and Mac?
I'm with you on that.
Robert, you paying for Mayweather?
No.
No, you paying for Mayweather.
Direct TV, and I'm gonna ask them. I'm gonna ask them if you bought it or not. Because you bought the last one. I called them up, and you bought the last one. They said you said
I didn't buy I didn't buy the Berto fight. I'll tell you that right now. I didn't buy that one. I didn't even watch that one. I just saw highlights of it. I didn't watch. I didn't watch that fight
either.
No,
I didn't watch that fight.
Watching that nonsense.
I bought it.
Hey, what are you gonna do? I'm a boxing junkie, so I'm surprised I didn't buy it. But hey, what are you gonna do? That fight just didn't do it for me, and free that night anyway. So I said, hey, make the family happy on this one.
The last pay-per-view I did not buy was Manny Pacquiao and Jesse Vargas.
I bought that one.
I'm not a huge Manny Pacquiao guy.
Comcast has my pay-per-view thing on auto pay.
Auto pay. All the pay-per-views come as it's paid.
I told him anytime there's a box pay-per-view, just already charge me for it. I'm buying it. Auto pay.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, man.
Well, it has been a blast, guys.
Absolutely.
You have a great evening, and I'll sit back and enjoy the rest of the show, and I'll be back on next week. Have a good one.
Awesome, man. You too.
Thank you, John, for the call.
Probably the best caller we have.
Best caller.
Hey, you know what? Chicago comes through big time for us. Between Sean and Dale, we got it made there in Chi-Town. So
there
good,
it is.
good
They
deal.
love us there. They love us in Illinois. There it is. Yeah, 70. Was it? Because I'm hearing that the Mayweather, not the Mayweather McGregor, but the Triple G and Canelo fight, closed circuit tickets, I believe, are going to be like $75. So
yeah, and that they're going to sell 30,000 seats in Las Vegas for closed circuit alone.
That I don't know.
Well, that's what I've heard. So, you know.
A couple people are saying there's no audio in the chat. Can you guys hear us now, or is that just a glitch for Robert's end? Okay.
I can hear. I've got audio. I've got audio. Yeah, I've got audio.
Just fine.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Let us know if you can't hear us in there, because Robert Rowland says he can hear.
Yeah, I can hear too. I just turned mine up. It was fine. So.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
All right. 1-1-1. You are live. I think this might be Wood. Wood,
Hey,
is this you?
Hey, Wood.
Yeah, what's good, fellas? What's good?
Up, man?
What's good?
So what's on your mind tonight, Wood?
Everything good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything's good. Everything's good, man.
Well, Beeb's kind of broke it down already. It's kind of hard to add on more to that, and I'm still on the fence though.
Wood, you're from Ohio. You and I both know the real score on this fight. It's not going to be close. It's going to be a Broner KO. We both know that Mikey Garcia has fought absolutely nobody, has never stepped his career up, has never taken any chances. Broner is bigger, stronger, faster. Why are they arguing, Wood? Why is there even
I don't know,
question
30,
here?
30 KOs, 3-division champion.
But so is Broner. So is Broner, son.
Let me ask you this, Eric. Eric, were you at the Taylor fight? Didn't you go to that one live when that one was here?
The Emmanuel Taylor fight? Yeah, I believe I did.
Basically, you scraped by in that one too. This guy scraped by.
Scraped
How did
by.
you score that one?
I don't remember. that fight.
Watching it live and to the knockdown, I really thought Taylor was I thought he was winning that fight, or it was very close. I was kind of shocked when the scores came out, and I think it was like 8-4 rounds, at least on 2 of the cards.
Mm-hmm.
So
I had a 7-5.
I'm very stuck with picking a winner here, but I agree with Beeb. I just think somewhere in between the 7th and 10th rounds, I think Broner's going to get a little I think he might take some chances, but I think both guys are just going to get out of the tactical side of things and kind of go to war. And from there, I think either guy could land a big shot. But I will say, Broner's not really putting guys away. He did get that late round knockdown on Porter in the 12th round, I believe. But I don't know.
It's good, man. It's a good fight. It is a good fight. I think there's a lot of questions on Mikey Garcia. I really do. Because, again, I mean, he's knocked his last 2 opponents out, but who have they been? You
know what the big question is? You know what the big question is? Whether he's going to win by stoppage or he's going to win by decision. That's the only question you have there.
I think the big question is it going to be Boston cream or lemon meringue coming off your face? I think that's the big question going down. I think I'm leaning toward Boston cream myself. I just want to see it like slide off your face. They're going to
Boston cream. You know what I'm going to do?
And it is still.
I'm going to get an apple pie.
Well, we'll have a title defense. So there you go.
You know what? I wish we can get you on camera so we can get a pie in your face, son. How about that? You're never like. I wish you were on camera so we could do bets with you.
Leave Robbie out of this, please. Kid's minding his own business. You want to throw pies in his face? Leave him alone. Bad enough. He's going to buy Mayweather McGregor. Leave him alone.
Very true. That's $100 down the tubes.
$100, man.
What are you going to buy that fight? What are you buying that fight?
The McGregor Mayweather?
Yeah. Wood's totally in that fight.
He's going to buy it. If you have to think about it, that means you're going to buy it.
Yeah, he's totally getting it. Yeah, he said it didn't come off with a snake. No, the fact that he breathed and he's like, I don't know. He's plunking.
He's going to buy it. He's buying it.
I'm trying trying to figure out where I can go where I can go pay maybe $10 to check it out and just stand on the wall somewhere.
I mean, BW will have it.
I just want
BW3s.
It may be more of a done deal if we knew who Badu Jack and Davis were fighting. But
yeah, those two are going to be on the undercard.
Without those fighters being named right now, it kind of gives me a lot of pause.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to fight anybody. I don't think you're going to see Badu Jack and James DeGale type of fights. You know what I mean? I think they're going to be showcase type fights.
They were saying that Davis may fight Salido, but I don't think it's going to happen now.
Oh, okay.
That would have been worthwhile.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that Salido name, and I thought that would have been an excellent fight. But I don't know who they could really get for Jack. I wouldn't have minded seeing Tabiti against somebody decent.
Yeah.
And remember, guys, Badu Jack has now moved up to light heavyweight. So, you know.
Right.
You know what would have been awesome? Clearly, it couldn't happen. But if they put Michael Conlon on the undercard, wouldn't that have been awesome? I mean, clearly, again, it couldn't happen, but in a perfect world, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, they probably missed on doing something like that. That would have been great.
Wouldn't that have been awesome? Yeah.
Hey, Eric, I mentioned in the chat that I think Deloach is actually fighting Nathaniel Gallimore.
I saw that. When did they change that? Because I've still got him.
It's not.
I've got him Fernando Guerrero. I've still got him facing for Fernando Guerrero. And I checked 2 different sites.
It's not updated on BoxRec, I don't believe. But the two guys are talking a lot of stuff on the Instagram.
Oh wow!
And I think that's a crucial fight because Deloach is kind of, he's one of the guys that's ready to get into the world title level, and I think Gallimore is going to be a pretty good challenge and could, possibly turn over his apple cart in doing that. So that's kind of an interesting one to look forward to the next day.
Hey, what do you think about Money Powell? Have you seen anything with him or heard anything about him?
I have not. I'd be lying if I said anything.
Yeah. Yeah, he's supposed to be a hot prospect. I know he's won a couple of fights. But yeah, they keep talking about him. I keep getting press releases on him. So yeah, they really hype that kid up, man. So I'm really anxious to see him. And I haven't gone to YouTube to look at his stuff or anything. So I don't really know him.
I got to check that out myself.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, it's a great 2 weeks coming up. I mean, obviously I want to see what Katie Taylor does. I've heard a lot about her, so it'll be interesting to see what she brings to the table. I think also I'm interested in seeing that. I think that Hitchinson kid might be fighting on the. Actually, Hitchinson might be fighting, I believe, on this card Saturday, and then also Desmond Jarman from About Billions. I think he'll be in like fight number 3 or 4.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, I like Jarman. Yeah,
because he didn't get the fight up in Toledo.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Not bad. What do you think of the Highland and Charlo fight?
Go ahead. I'm with B. I think I'd like to see it be a little something, but I just think the Charlo brothers have just kind of all of a sudden, I mean, the power has just gone through the roof with those two guys. And I think Jamal is, Lions only. I'm a big time Lions only bandwagon jumper, I guess, right now. Yeah. I don't see that one being too competitive at all.
Isn't Spence in there too?
Hopefully it's more competitive than what Hatley was a couple of months ago when Jamel was fighting at Barclays.
Yeah.
Spence is in that camp. Yeah, you're right, Eric.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He trains. Because I think Jamal has the same trainer as, is it Jamal or Jamel? I think has the same trainer.
That's right, because he left. Remember that he left?
Yeah,
which one?
It's Jamal. It's with Eric James now, I believe. Because Jamal is athlete, right? He's the one up.
Yeah, right. I believe. Yeah. Jamal is
Jamal.
Jamal is fighting Jermell. Wasn't it Jermell that moved up? No.
It's Jamal.
No, Jamal moved up.
This is the WBC middleweight. This is a middleweight. Oh, okay. That's right.
Jamal moved up, yeah.
God, they just their names sound so similar.
James now.
Yeah.
I thought it was Derek.
or Derek James. I'm sorry.
Derek,
you're right.
you're right. Derek James.
Both of the brothers are with Derek James. Derek James was there with again in the Hatley fight with Jermell.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought one
stayed though. I can't remember.
Shields.
Yeah, I'll have to double check that.
Nah, those guys don't do anything separate from one another.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You might be right.
So what do you think about what about Rasheed Warren and McJoe Arroyo?
I'm not that familiar with the opponent, but Warren, I think it's interesting. I think you're right. I don't think he was out in Colorado Springs with everybody else. So I think he has parted ways. I don't know, man. That Warren is he's an interesting guy, or weird. I hate to say weird, but he's kind of a different guy. And like you said, same thing with Broner. I mean, I think he needs to be more consistent in his work rate. Like when we were up in Toledo, when he got outworked by the Zakayanov guy, I don't see him facing that same type of pressure in this fight.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
At all. But I think it's a good way for him to get back to action. I'm glad to see that. I think I've seen some pictures with him and AB and maybe even Robert Easter Jr. on Instagram and everything. So it seems like everybody's in a good place. You know, like you said, it's Ohio boxing, and they're trying to do the big thing in NYC.
Yeah, I wish, again, man, I mean, the one knock I have, one of the big knocks I have on the PBC is just where they put these fights. Like you have two Ohio guys. Yeah, you could put this in Ohio or you put it in California, but you put it in New York. But, in all fairness, I mean, I think it does pretty well in New York. And if we don't put it in New York, we don't get like Katie Taylor. We probably don't get Charlo. We probably, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it, obviously me and you wanted it closer by, but I think we're trying to bring Garcia to Ohio, I think would have been a little difficult. I think he's a little bit more of an attraction in New York City. Quick question though. You guys know that Miller comes from a kickboxing background, correct?
I did not know that, no.
I think he's a former kickboxing guy, man. I was just wondering, to speak it to Robbie's point, I wonder what his weight was like when he was in the kickboxing side. It just seems like it's kind of odd that since he's gotten into boxing that the weight has been a problem like it has. I'm pretty sure he's a former kickboxer.
I don't know. That would be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see if Miller initially began training in Muay Thai as a way to defend himself on the street. So yeah, that makes sense. He was in the World Combat League.
That's another reason right there, guys. If he used to do that, why does he weigh so much now? I mean,
who knows what he weighed then?
That's
Robbie just does not like that weight.
Fat shaming that guy.
He's fat shaming that guy, man.
Robbie
invited that guy over his house for dinner. He would only give him a salad.
Oh.
I don't like to focus on something like this, but every time I've seen him, he's looked great in the ring. But my God, if anybody ever takes him any rounds, I just don't know. Yeah,
he started fighting in K1. Listen, he's got a total 23 total fights in kickboxing, 21 wins, 9 knockouts, 21 and 9, 2 losses. So, and I'll tell you what, man, that's hard too. I mean, if you're kickboxing or the Muay Thai stuff, I mean, it takes a lot out of you too. So you got to be in pretty good shape to do that. So yeah.
I think the guy's great for the heavyweight ranks, though. I think I like his trash talk a little bit more than Wilder. I mean, Wilder seems to be on defense a lot right now, and I know people are calling him out and expecting him to step up and everything, but it just seems like Miller is I don't know. His trash talk just seems more genuine or something. I don't know, but like I said, it's always bad when a guy is defending himself and doing a lot of explaining, whereas it just seems like Miller is having a good time and just calling some guys out. And, you know, he's got that East Coast, that New York brashness to him. So I'm interested to see what he does. I think if he does get past Washington, which I'm picking him to do so, I think he's an interesting opponent in there amongst the heavyweights.
Yeah, he's more playful with his trash talk. I mean, like you said, I mean, Wilder seems to be making a lot of excuses and stuff like that. One final thing here before I get out of here. Does Sonny Fredrickson, is he still with Rock Nation or what? You got the memo just like I did. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I think he is. I just think that was a local Toledo thing that was probably in play to try to shed some light on his upcoming fight.
Right.
I'm kind of shocked that they're still pushing ticket sales about that one, because that venue is not that big, which we already discussed, and I would have thought that one would have been sold out already. I was kind of shocked that they mentioned that in that in that release that you and I were discussing. But as far as I know, I talked to one of their I think he's with Victory Sports Management, and I've talked quite a bit with one of the guys, the co-owners or co-founders of that outfit. And he hasn't mentioned anything like there's been any kind of shakeup or anything. So I'd be pretty surprised if he's not still with Rock Nation.
Yeah, it looked like a local. Yeah, it looked like a local guy sending that out, and which was, you know, and like you said, man. I mean, if that venue only holds like 500 to 1,000, you know, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. That's and they're not selling that out, and they're trying to like drum up people to, you know what I mean? Yeah, that might not be good, man.
Yeah, it's kind of late in the game, and I thought that one would have sold out pretty quickly. But
yeah,
you know, they are coming 2 months ago with Shields. You know, folks had to pay to get into that, so maybe asking people to come back around so quickly, you know, maybe the tickets are a little slow. But I mean, Showtime's going to be in the building. The one kid, I think a bantamweight, Jericho Quinn, is an exciting fighter to see. He's on there again. And then, you know, it would be nice to see Rock Nation doing something in some way, you know, even though it's not their event. But, you know, to get the word out there, I would imagine if Fredrickson is successful in this fight, that he's probably knocking at a title fight, wouldn't you think?
I don't know. I mean, it would make sense.
Tough, though. 140 is tough.
Yeah, it would make sense that he's at least. I mean, because he's not even in the top 10 yet, is he? Or is he? I think he is in the top 10.
Yeah, he's number 10 right now.
Yeah, I think he's got a couple. He's got a couple more fights. He's got a couple. Who is he fighting? I'm trying to figure out. I can't remember who he's fighting. Let me see if I can look it up.
It's a kid named Bakhtiar Ayubov or something.
Ayubov, yeah. What is it? And was it August 4th? Is that?
Yep. Yeah, it's the following Friday.
That's the next show box, Eric.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, Sonny Fredrickson versus Bakhtiar Ayubov.
Yeah, there you go.
He was fighting somebody, and I thought he was fighting a different guy. I don't know too much about Ayubov. Yeah, I think he's probably going to have to fight
a victory
a couple more.
Kareem Mayfield.
Yeah, he's probably going to have to fight a couple more before he actually gets in the serious title contention. You know, they could pick him for a, like a voluntary. I don't know, man. But, yeah, I think he's still got some work to do before he gets a title shot, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, 140 is tough. So, to jump in there right now with the, with the world-class guys, I was just thinking maybe there's some kind of, USBA or, one of those, the lower belts or something.
Yeah, to get them ranked, to get them.
Or interim.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that.
Yeah.
But he's been WBA top 15 now for like the last year and a half. So, I mean, he's working himself up there.
Yeah, well, remember, Wood, all the 140 titles will be at stake when Crawford and Ndongo fight on the 19th.
Right.
all
right.
four
So
belts.
that's
You know.
so it's difficult to get one of those right now. I guess I would have to agree with that.
My guess is that they're not going to be tied up very long. They're not going to be tied up very long.
Nope.
Either Crawford's going to vacate or Ndongo's. One of them are going to vacate, or one of them is going to. They're going to, you know, one of the sanctioning bodies is going to pull some stupid move where they want to strip them of the title for some unknown reason, and you know, so unfortunately we don't have long reigning, you know, undisputed champions anymore. So yeah,
which sucks. You know, I think it's great. All four of those belts are going to be up for grabs. One fight. That's awesome.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. It's very cool.
Right. Hey, well, I'm gonna get out of here. I don't know if you guys want to talk about it after I leave, but I think that'd be interesting. I was talking with my barber about it, but I'd rather see Bud stay there at 140 and maybe see if some guys are willing to come up from 135 versus him going up and trying to, you know, I know the desired showdown is him and Errol Spence Jr., but I just think that fight could cook a little bit longer.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know, I don't know what happens next Saturday, but it'd be interesting to see Garcia versus, you know, a Bud or something before he went up to 147.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I'm not in a hurry for him to go fight Errol Spence. You know, and I don't think he should be in a hurry for it either. So yeah, I think that's probably a good move. Yeah, you know, if you know, you can go up to 147, maybe grab a different belt or something like that. But yeah, I don't think you want any part of Spence. I don't think anybody wants any part of Spence, to be honest with you. Yeah, that guy to me is the real deal. He's the next guy. So, all right, Wood, tell me where we can find your show and stuff like that.
Hey, just check out Talk Loud Radio. You can check out the website talkloudradio.com. It's 3 different podcasts on there, but I'm the one guy that's doing boxing on there, partially, I guess. But you can check out this week's show with I think I have Joshua Greer Jr. on there talking about his ShowBox stoppage 2 weeks ago on Friday night, and then also Jamel Herring, who was supposed to fight Alejandro Luna Saturday. That fight won't be happening. So he came on and just gave me some insight on Terrence Crawford and Shakur Stevenson being in camp out there with Adrien Broner and getting, you know, to help getting prepared for Mikey Garcia. So he shared some interesting information and, you know, just kind of shed some light on what happened, you know, during training camp out there.
There you go. Awesome. Wood always gets good interviews, man. Always good show too, man. Listen, go ahead and download his podcast, man. Listen to it. Wood, we're going to get running, man. Thank you so much for the call. Good deal, man. I always like when Wood calls in. He's always got good information for us. Always got good information. All right, and that is going to be the weekend of fights. Before we go, what do you think of that? Beeb, do you think it's going to be entertaining, the Victor Ortiz Saul Corral fight?
You never know what you're going to get with Victor Ortiz, so I don't want to commit to anything. You never know what this guy's
a wild card, right?
It is. It really is.
Victor Ortiz is like the 3 faces of Eve. You never know what you're going to get.
There it is, man. There it is. Yeah. So, not sure who wins that fight. Don't really care, but I think it will be entertaining. I think it will be.
I'm always crossing my fingers.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. All right. This week's news and rumors, man. Malignaggi and McGregor spar. So Paulie Malignaggi and Conor McGregor were set to spar. They sparred this week. You know, the funny thing is I got a picture on Twitter and I sent it to Beeb because it was just McGregor had posted it. And I said, is this Paulie? There's a picture of Conor McGregor, hands crossed behind his back, face leaning in, just baiting Paulie. And Paulie looked like he just was coming off of the ropes. I mean, he was crouched down, looked like he was either dodging some shots or maybe took some shots or whatever. It looked like he was covering up and kind of leaning back toward the ropes. So it definitely, I mean, from the shot, you know, again, this is a picture, you know.
It looked like a one-sided beating. If you kind of take the narrative of the picture and look at it, it's like, wow, I'm not going to say it was that, but it looked like it was Paulie Malignaggi.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
it's hard,
and it turned out to be Paulie.
It's hard to tell what that was.
But yeah, I mean, you had a lot of guys saying, "Wow, it looked like a one-sided beating and everything." I mean, the picture made it look like, I mean, it looked like Paulie's face was red. It looked like he was, you know, either just coming out of a combination that he'd been. That's what the picture kind of looks like. Now, what the sparring session actually was, you know, who knows? I'm sure it didn't. I'm sure it was not one-sided, or maybe it was. Maybe not the way we're thinking of. But yeah, I'm sure it was. Paulie came out and said that the sparring session. He came out a day or two later and said, "Yeah, that was him. That was a sparring session." And that he liked it. He said that McGregor has really good power. He's a smart fighter, and both guys got shots in. He said that both guys definitely got shots in. He said that, you know, McGregor's working on a game plan. They have a game plan. He's got a real good team around him. All the guys it's a real serious camp, and it feels like they're leading into a championship fight, basically. So what did you make of this photo when you saw it, Beeb?
I really couldn't make too much about it because they were so far apart from each other.
Yeah.
Look, obviously it looked like McGregor was taunting him.
Yeah.
And Malignaggi looked like he was just getting low. It looked like Malignaggi was getting ready to attack, and McGregor was just kind of playing around and trying to bait him in.
Right.
So, as far as coming to a conclusion that Malignaggi was getting beat up, I couldn't draw it from that picture. I mean, I don't know.
No, but I think that's the narrative he tried to draw from the picture. You know what I mean? By posting that picture, that's what he wanted to, you know, that's what he wanted you to believe. By sending that picture, he was getting the way better of Malignaggi. He was clowning him and everything like that. I'm not 100% sure that's the way it went down, you know.
No, I don't know. I suspect it didn't go down that way, but who knows?
I suspect it too, yeah. Now, also, too, this is interesting, and this was actually just tweeted to me, and I saw this earlier. Joe from Indiana just texted me and says, sorry, guys, watching WWE tonight. We'll listen later. My son and my daughter and my son are really into WWE. They're watching this. They've been talking about it all week. There's some kind of WWE show on tonight, so they're watching it too. So I know what's going on.
MD, if you're watching, it's fake. Just so you know, I don't want you to get scammed out of anything.
Wow!
We'll give you the heads. I want to give you the heads up.
Oh wow! Beeb on fire today. So this was tweeted to me by Wenceslao Cano. And you know him, Beeb. You know, you
my number one fan. That's my number one fan.
He's another guy you don't get along with on Twitter.
That's my buddy.
So this picture was tweeted out to me, and it's a picture of Mayweather in I believe it's a gold. Robert, you can correct me on this. I don't know. It's a Golden State Warriors jersey, and it's a CJ Watson jersey. Robert, does he play on Golden State?
Ah, my God, I don't know that. No, he's not a current Warrior. He might have been a past Warrior, but he's not a current Warrior. That's for sure.
It said Warriors, and his number was 23, and it was C.J. Watson. And that's what he said the jersey was. It was C.J. Watson or whatever. And
yeah, well,
there was a picture of
Warrior.
Yeah, there was a picture of McGregor wearing this jersey. One of the other, I think it was whoever was on that basketball team came out and said, no, we're on Floyd or whatever. But the crazy thing about all this was that C.J. Watson apparently was the guy that was messing around with Floyd's ex-wife, Josie Harris. And,
oh my God. Okay.
Right? Yeah, and that's why he went and he, apparently went over there and beat her up and stuff like that. And it's not alleged because he was convicted on it. So, it is what it is. You can't even say allegedly. It clearly happened because he went to jail for it.
Yeah, that's where he got the 90-day
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's when Floyd served 90 days. But I remember there was like some kind of alleged affair there with her, and that was the guy he was with, and he's wearing his jersey, and he tweeted out a picture.
Like I said,
Mayweather's wearing the jersey, or McGregor's wearing the jersey?
McGregor was wearing the jersey.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Oh, okay.
Savage, son.
That's fucking hilarious.
Oh my gosh. That's insane. That is insane. Who does that kind of stuff, man? Do you think McGregor with his antics can get into Mayweather's head?
Floyd has experienced so much. I don't know if anybody can get into his head, to be honest.
But I don't think he's ever had anybody like this. He's never had this kind of stuff where guys are taunting him and he's in his face. He's in his face just as much at the press conference. He went in on him the way he did. That's got to be like, and he was just completely disrespectful, you know?
Oh, yeah. This is some strong stuff that's happening right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, wow, man. I mean, who does that?
Yeah.
Craziness. Robert Guerrero announced his retirement this week. The news comes after his loss to Omar Figueroa. Man, I tell you what, I'm glad. I'm really glad this was his last fight. I think he's leaving at the right time. Robert, I know you think he's leaving at the right time.
Yeah, no, Robert had a wonderful career, but it was time to go. And, thank God he leaves with his health, and, good going forward, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So Joe Smith last week suffered a broken jaw in the first round with his fight against Sullivan Barrera, and he went on to finish the fight. So, he didn't look himself because he got his jaw broken in the first round.
That's painful.
And he was jabbed repeatedly.
It just goes to show you he ain't no average Joe. He'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. That was it was a good showing. I mean, now knowing that now, it's like, man, and hey, listen, man, losing to Sullivan Barrera is not it's not a knock.
And the first round, first round, that's when Smith knocked down Barrera. So that's even more impressive.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, and Reese Mack in the chat just said, and Joe Smith got hit with a rough uppercut in the fourth. I tell you what, man, that can't feel good. I mean, that can't, even jabs at that point when your jaw's busted cannot feel good, man. That's gotta hurt.
Well, so, I predict Joe will be back, and that just shows a lot of guts, man. A lot of guts.
Yeah. So this next topic is about the PBC. Beeb, you put out a video. Calling with PBC and was it PBC versus
basically PBC versus the whole boxing world, really.
Yeah, I mean, and I tell you what, if you guys haven't seen it, go to Beating the Odds with Beeb and check it out. I mean, you can see all our shows there anyway. I mean, but yeah, go there and check it out because it's a really, really good video, and he really breaks it down. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to be accused of being a PBC pom-pom waver, but they get a ton of hate. And I'll be honest, man, I'm not real sure why. I mean, we can start with the obvious. They have a ton of fighters on their roster, and a lot of them aren't real active. But PBC doesn't promote fights. They're the advisors. They're the manager. Heyman is their advisor, not the promoter. I mean, who knows if these fighters are willing to fight more than twice a year? You look at Danny Garcia. I mean, at the end of the day, it's their decision. Not a lot of them have come out. I mean, I haven't heard Danny Garcia say, man, I wish I can get some fights. There have been some. But by and large, they pretty much remain silent, which leads me to believe they're probably happy with the arrangement. If they're not fighting, but yet they're not like going on and coming on, especially in this day and age of like Twitter and Instagram and everything like that, one of them is going to complain. PBC has brought back boxing to network TV on multiple free channels. They've got it on multiple cable channels or, satellite channels and multiple free channels. Boxing fans have bashed their card, their last card on Fox and other cards. But, look, you want to go back to Friday night fights on ESPN? I mean, seriously. I mean, let me run this down for you. I looked this up. These are the main events in January of 2014 of ESPN's Friday night fights. Okay. January 3rd, Argenis Mendez versus Rancis Bartholomew. These are all main events. All right, I can deal with that. I can live with that. January 10th, Arash Usmani versus Juan Antonio Rodriguez. January 24th, Javier Molina versus Kendall Holt. January 31st, Zolt Erdai versus Elvir Mariki. Seriously? That's what you want to go back to? I mean, really? We just had Robert Guerrero, Omar Figueroa. They may not be the top names, but at least they're two names you know. You know, you've seen these guys fight. You knew, and if you don't say that was an entertaining fight, you're crazy. That was complete. You know, you don't have a pulse if you didn't think that was an entertaining. That was clearly an entertaining fight. All right. I mean, come on, man. I mean, Robert, you stated on another show that you hope the PBC goes away. Why?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Yeah, well, simple. Look, that was. I'll give you the fact that was an entertaining fight, but those two fighters did not deserve a nationally televised main event. They're too. See, the problem I have with the PBC is their fighters are too inactive. If you're going to really put a good product forward, you know, if you're going to sign well over 200 fighters, you've got to have, and if you're going to get all these platforms, you've got to make sure that your fighters fight. I like what ESPN is doing with both the Golden Boy agreement and now the Top Rank agreement. We're going to get, you know, real fights. Are we going to get some duds? Yes, we are.
You got a dud this weekend. You got a dud this weekend with Saddam Ali.
Well, I don't think that'll be a dud. You know, I think that's a comeback fight for Ali. He's been out a while because he was hurt.
Who's he fighting? Who is he fighting? Who is Saddam Ali fighting here? Johan Perez. That's not a dud fight.
Tune-up. I don't know who you know.
And not only that, okay, you say that, you know, Guerrero and Figueroa shouldn't be on a national stage, but Arash Usmani versus Juan Antonio Rodriguez, that deserves to be on a national stage.
No, because I don't know who those guys are either.
Yeah, right? But you know the other two.
The point is this.
No, but my point, Eric, is if you're going to use a major network such as Fox or NBC, and you're going to either do a time buy or they're going to agree to put on a fight for like free TV. I'm not even talking cable. But if you're going to do something for a major network, you got to have two major names. And those two weren't big enough names for that platform.
Well, how do you figure? I mean, but it was a good fight. It was an entertaining fight. Do you think Pacquiao and Horn was a good fight going in? Everybody dumped all over that fight.
No,
everybody
of course
completely
not.
dumped all over the fight. But it turned out to be a pretty good fight.
As far as I'm concerned, Eric, the kind of fighters that should be on national TV on like a CBS or a Fox or an NBC, it should be like a Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter.
But you're not going to get that every time out, though. But you're not going to get that every time out. And you're talking about like, you know, right now they're going to have good fights. Right now they're going to have good fights on, you know, Top Rank is going to have good fights on there. PBC did the same thing until they run out of people or until they run out of fights to go. The other thing is, too, maybe they try to put fights together and they just say, hey, I'm not fighting.
Fighters have to agree. The fighters have to agree to fight. It's not always the promoters. And Bob Arum has said that several times. He's tried to put fights together. Let me ask you this, Robbie. Where's Tim Bradley been? He hasn't fought since April of 2016. He's not a PBC fighter. What about when Mikey Garcia used to be a top-ranked fighter? Why did he go on a hiatus? What about Onito Donaire? He was a top-ranked fighter. Why did he go on a hiatus? The thing is this: if the PBC goes away on that roster, they don't have a home.
Right.
And it's going to be even worse. They're gonna have even less fights. They're going to be even more inactive because they're not going to have a home. I just think the more fish you have in the pond, the better it is for everybody.
Right.
I don't like. You had main events. You had Don King. You had Top Rank. You had boxing was thriving, and then we had that drought when it was just Top Rank and it was Golden Boy. There was so many fights we wanted to see that didn't get made. There was so many fighters that were inactive. Like the whole thing is this: you're gonna have these same problems, and you had these same problems with or without PBC. Could PBC be doing things better? Absolutely. I have a problem with a lot of things they do. I have a problem with the inactivity as well. You know, but the thing is this: it's not PBC's fault that these the ills of boxing that we have today, the ills of boxing that we had before. PBC did not create all of these problems. These problems were there before PBC. They're there now with PBC, and they're going to be there, 20 years down the road. Because at the end of the day, what it all comes down to is everyone is always going to have their best interests at heart first and foremost, as I said in the video. So someone else's, what's best for someone else may not be best for somebody else. What someone's it's not going to be someone else's best interest. So everybody is going to do what's best for them. And in the process, sometimes the fans end up losing because of that. So if a fighter does not like the deal that's on the table for him, he's not going to fight. That's been going on since the beginning of time. Top Ranks had that problem with fighters. Golden Boy's had that problem with fighters. Why do a lot of guys leave Top Rank? A lot of Top Rank fighters are now PBC fighters. Why is that? Because obviously they weren't happy with what Bob Arum was doing. So my whole thing is this: PBC goes away, none of these problems are going to go away. They're only going to be exacerbated, in my opinion. I think that's what the fact of the matter is.
Okay, Beeb, answer me this: why did they lose Spike? Why did they lose the deal with Spike? Why did they lose the deal with ESPN?
Who cares?
Why does
that even matter?
So why did Golden Boy lose HBO?
Right.
Why did Top Rank lose Showtime? Back in the day, you remember when Top Rank used to have that series on ESPN? Remember they had that series on ESPN? It was called Top Rank Boxing, and they even had an ESPN belt. Why did they lose that? You want me to answer your question, Robbie? Because it's cyclical. Nothing good lasts forever. Anything in business, you have your ups and your downs, your peaks and your valley. So Bob Arum has lost TV network deals before. What happened to Tuesday Night Fights? Where's that? Why'd that go away on USA? Nothing lasts forever. Golden Boy has lost TV deals before. Top Rank has lost TV deals before. They're not happy with HBO. HBO has not always bought the fights that they wanted them to buy. So they've been on the outs with HBO. They've been on the outs. When was the last time you saw Top Rank on a Showtime? You know what I'm saying? So this is just the way of the world. Boxing has always been like this.
And go ahead.
So they lost Spike because Spike decided they didn't want to pick up their fights anymore. Just like Showtime decided they weren't going to deal with Top Rank. Just like HBO decided for that period of time they weren't going to deal with Golden Boy. It happens. It's called business.
Once again, being such a bang-up promoter. I mean, Spike lost the UFC to show. Dude,
it's business. It's called business. So as I said, PBC did not create these problems, and they're sure as hell not going to end them either. No one's going to end them. It's just it is what it is. My whole thing is this: let's look at the positive. Let's look at the good things we've got from PBC. We've got a lot of great fights from PBC.
Right.
A lot of them. So the thing is, PBC goes away, all those fighters lose a home, and then those fighters will be even more inactive than they are now. It'll be worse.
Yeah, I mean, what would you rather go back to Javier Molina versus Kendall Holt? You know what I mean? As a main event on Friday Night Fights? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't understand. Like, at least these are guys they're fights. I mean, are they marquee matchups? Not all the time. No. The Broner fight this weekend, I believe, isn't that a PBC card? That's a PBC, right? Maybe? I know
it is.
Yeah. And look at that. It's stacked.
It's on Showtime, so I'm not sure if it's a BBC card. Isn't it on Showtime?
Yeah, it's on Showtime.
Yeah, because in the advertisement, Joe, it says sponsored by Premier Boxing Champions.
Oh, okay. All right, so it's a
yeah. So
is that a shit fight? I mean, I don't know. I think it's a great fight.
No.
Was Garcia
Garcia Thurman? All that stuff goes with it. And then like you said, I mean, all those fighters got to find homes. And then what are they going to go to Top Rank? Top Rank can't sign guys.
Put fighters on the shelf before. Golden Boy put fighters on the shelf before.
Yep.
Why? Balanashi was with Golden Boy. His biggest complaint, they shelved me. I'm saying these things happen with everybody. It's not just, I don't know, man. I think what the thing was the bar was set so high for PBC. The expectations were so high. The reality of the situation just fell by the wayside, And people forget how boxing has been. Nothing can run smoothly. You're always going to be met with resistance from one side or another. There's always going to be these battles between promoters. There's always going to be these battles between. It's always been that way. Always.
Yeah.
It's because that's how business is.
Unfortunately, you were right.
That's how business is. It's not a PBC problem. It's a boxing problem. It's a business problem. It's networks having a problem. And once again, people are looking out for their best interest. Everyone's looking out for number one. And when that occurs, you have conflict. Just the way it is.
Yeah, I just don't understand, like, ripping an entire organization. You know, I mean, when they rip PBC or whatever, and PBC does a lot wrong. Don't get me wrong. They do a lot wrong. But I mean, again, you look at this weekend's card with Broner and Garcia, and then you got the whole card is stacked. And you want them to go under? Are you crazy? Well, because they put that fight on Channel 19, the Guerrero fight. I mean, come on, man. What they did close to 1 million people. Was it 900,000 or something I heard?
924,000.
Yeah, they did a lot of people. They did more people than the HBO. That HBO card was lousy. It was great on paper, and it should have been a mismatch on paper. The card was lousy. If you watch those fights, they were lousy. The other card, I thought the Fox card was, I wasn't really looking forward to the Fox card. I was hardly even going to watch it. Ended up watching on delay or whatever.
Well, Eric, I thought both cards were lousy last week.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, I did too. But one, like I said, I mean, that HBO card should have been, on paper was the better card. But then you get there and it's like, wow, this is terrible.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
But Miguel Bichette is not a household name, though.
No.
More people know who Robert Guerrero.
Title fights. Nobody knew those guys. No casual knew those guys.
And you know what? I think people like that are going to get better. But you're right. But I don't know.
People know Robert Guerrero because he's the guy who lost to Floyd Mayweather.
I thought those fights would be more competitive, and they weren't.
And Champ Ross in the chat just says Fox is free, and that's a channel that all of you have, that everybody has. It's 9, and they only got 924,000. That's pathetic. Who cares? It's close to 1 million people. It's more. I mean, they outdrew the competitor. What else do you need? And again,
I think considering all those fighters were inactive for a while, and considering that those were basically showcase fights, what did you expect? I mean, there wasn't any title fights on the card. It was basically showcase fights, prospects. You know what I mean? And you had Guerrero on the way down. You had Figueroa, a guy that's been inactive. So what do you think? Omar Figueroa, who's been inactive, Robert Guerrero, who's been inactive coming off losses. So what are you going to do? You're going to throw them in with a title fight? I mean, the fights were what they were.
Well,
and I think considering what the fights were on paper, the ratings they drew were impressive. The fighters who were on the card.
Yeah, and
in my opinion.
Didn't they have to, when they started us out, weren't they buying time? They were buying time on like NBC and Fox and everything like that. So if they're still in the same boat and they're getting more money on another network like Showtime or something else like that, why would they put their best foot forward on the Channel 19, the Fox card? Why would they put like 2 studs on there when they can get more money for it on Showtime? It's like he said it, man. It's business.
It's just business.
And they still had better fights.
And do you watch a fight? When you sit down and watch a fight, what's your first, what are you looking for first? What is the first thing that pops in your head? I want to watch a good fight. I want to see an entertaining fight. I'm not sitting there saying to myself, Guerrero versus Figueroa. I wonder how much ratings this is going to do. Who the fuck sits there and worries about shit like that? Like, why is that important? Unless you're in someone's camp, or unless you work. Like, do these people work for Nielsen? I mean, is that their job? To just fucking count people's fucking sales? They're either pocket watchers or they're Nielsen employees or something like that. Like watch the fucking fights. Who cares about the other shit?
Yeah, you know what? The only time we ever talk about ratings on here is pay-per-view numbers. That's it. You know, I mean, nobody cares like how many homes saw the HBO fight last week. You know, unless it's like a record number, who cares? You know, even then, it's like, you know, wow, a lot of people watched it. But if it's a mid-range number like 600,000 or, you know, 900,000 over at Fox, who cares? You know, we all talk about the number of pay-per-views that we think McGregor and Mayweather are going to sell. Canelo and Triple G the same way. You know, but I mean, as far as you know, just numbers for everyday boxing, who cares, man? And you're right. It's like, what do you want to see? You want to see a good fight. That's the only thing you're thinking about when you sit down and watch the TV.
Watch Game of Thrones tonight because I love that show. And if it's just me and my cat Simba over here that's watching it, does that mean that it sucks? I'm going to enjoy the fuck out of Game of Thrones tonight. I don't care if 3 people watch it. It's
Right.
what I like. Why would I be so fixated on what someone else likes?
Yeah.
I don't care.
I just don't understand like the hate for it. I mean, and I'll be the first to tell you, man, they've done a lot of things wrong. There's a lot of things they could improve on, but I'll also be the first to tell you, I think this is also a lot better than what we had, which was ESPN Friday Night Fights. And those cards, those lousy cards that they were giving us and those lousy main events they were giving us. It's
Remember Sean O'Grady? O'Grady and LL?
Yeah, on USA. Yeah.
Remember that, Robbie?
Yeah, would you like to go back to that?
I certainly do.
How competitive were those fights, Robbie?
Yeah, how do they compare to those fights or the fights I just rattled off on ESPN 2014?
I think the Tuesday night fights were a lot better.
I don't.
No, come on. I don't
know. No,
either.
then the 24, then the list you read off on 2014.
Sure, but maybe.
I wouldn't even go that far.
They had the Tuesday night fights. They had the Tuesday night fights in the 80s and the 90s, guys.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns was fighting on it.
And they were mismatches.
No.
Right, they were all mismatches. And that's the thing. So,
Bernard Hopkins versus Gilbert. Bernard Hopkins versus Gilbert Baptiste. He beat the piss out of Gilbert Baptiste.
That's the thing. Like, if you saw like big names on them, but they were all whitewashes. They were all like, it was like watching WWF on Saturday mornings. You know, like was it Hulk Hogan against some jobber or something like that? You know, it was all they were all squash matches.
I'm not going to compare boxing to wrestling.
Just saying, man. Squash matches exist too. All right, let's move ahead here. Beeb, it's time.
Sugar. Shoot.
There it is. There it is. Jermaine Taylor is our train wreck of the week. Robert, he was arrested for biting a woman. Officers were dispatched to the 100 block of Lily Drive regarding a domestic disturbance in progress. Upon arrival, officers spoke with the woman involved and Jermaine Taylor. The woman reported that Jermaine Taylor attacked her as the couple were arguing. She also stated that he had attempted to damage her cell phone so she couldn't call 911 and bit her several times. He bit her several times. She stated that she was able to get away from Taylor for a brief period, attempted to run out of the residence, but Taylor tried to stop her. So she pepper sprayed him in the face, was able to escape the home. She reported that Taylor chased her down the street, threatening to kill her. Officers were able to see bite marks on the woman. Taylor was arrested and charged with third-degree battery, first-degree terroristic threatening, and first-degree interference with emergency communication. Robert, what are your thoughts on Jermaine Taylor?
Mental nutcase.
Wow.
He's a fucking mental case is what he is. Absolutely. Man, if anybody in boxing needs a mental institution, it's one Jermaine Taylor. His deck is definitely long gone.
Unreal.
All right.
Bit somebody. Bit somebody. He pulled a Tyson. What's he doing?
Yeah, trying to take a page out of Mike's book.
Eric, upset she didn't get to do the train chugga chugga. Can I let her
Bring
do it
her
real
in.
quick?
Bring her in.
Go ahead and do it.
Chugga, 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 choo, choo.
All right, there you go.
See, I miss Brianna doing it.
I thought she. I thought she was in the tub.
Okay.
Beeb just took it away from her. Just took it away from her.
Yeah.
Ah, terrible. Terrible.
No, seriously, no. There's something always been wrong with that guy ever since he's been out of the ring. You know, every time you turn around, he gives Adrien Broner a run for his money in the train wreck of the week discussion.
He is. You know what?
You never know when you're going to hear.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny that you say that, man, because I was thinking about him. He's kind of hit the skids since he left boxing, and the other one is Kelly Pavlik was the other one.
Yeah,
he's doing a podcast now. Did you know that?
I did not.
I heard him talking about it. I haven't heard it yet. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it.
Oh, we got to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on ES News saying he's doing a podcast. I can't find it.
Awesome. Did you think what is that? What is it? CTE? What those football players get?
Yes,
that's right.
Do you think that Jermaine Taylor
until after you die?
Yeah. Do you think Jermaine Taylor may have that?
Hey, I can't.
I definitely think he's got boxing pugilista or something of that sort.
Yeah. I mean, like, and is there
what is it? Pugilistic dementia or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, but CTE is like that. You remember Junior Seau, that football player who shot himself or whatever?
Yep.
Oh yeah, because you know what happened?
He left a note. You know?
Yeah, you get parts of your brain get damaged.
And a lot of the older football players have already left their brains to this place in Boston for when they die. They can do research.
Yeah.
Severe depression. They have like mood swings. They'll go from sad to angry, and it's like because their brain, certain parts of their brain are damaged and what have you. It's really sad. I mean,
unfortunately, there's no medical cure for this stuff.
I wonder if they could get on medicine or anything.
Until after the person dies.
I wonder if they could get on medicine or anything like that. Is there anything that could help them, or they're just
because that's all the medicine.
Unfortunately, doctors have said no. There's no kind of medical cure. That they don't even know officially these guys have it until after death.
That's horrible.
And the sad part about it is when you put these guys like on antidepressants and stuff like that, they kind of like turn into like, it's almost like they get so mellow. It's almost like they're like spaced out and stuff. It's like they're not really who they are. You know, they become different people. It's pretty sad, the whole thing.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, it's got to be like, I mean, that's got to be in the conversation when they bring this guy in. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he doesn't do any time or doesn't get arrested or they let him go or anything like that. But I mean, that's
treatment. He also needs treatment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's got to be like some kind of medical treatment.
With everything I've read on the subject, Eric, it looks like the medical community's hands are tied until some kind of scientist does some kind of research to give them a way to treat this while the person's still alive.
Yeah, it's horrible, man. Just horrible. Shannon Briggs, suspended by the WBA for 6 months.
He's got the dirty pee-pee.
Exactly. The WBA posted on social media today, or this week anyway, due to Shannon Briggs' positive test for a prohibited substance, he is suspended for 6 months.
That's crazy.
Briggs failed a drug test on May 14th while training for Freza Kendo, and gave him 6 months for it. It was higher testosterone, higher elevated testosterone or whatever, which I was shocked when he got busted for drugs. I mean, here he is. He's 40-some years old. He looks like a cartoon character. Looks like straight out of a comic book. I thought he was all natural, man. I was shocked.
It could be done.
Of course.
It's not impossible.
That's a nice dream you're having, Eric. It just goes to show you. Sometimes
Robbie's 50. He's shredded.
Robbie's shredded. That's right. Yeah, Robbie's 50.
Robbie's shredded. Robbie's like at 4% body fat right now.
4%, man. That's insane.
Yeah, right.
Robert tearing it up out there in Cali. He goes to the beach every day.
Robbie wakes up in the morning, bangs out those push-ups.
Yeah, keep dreaming, man. I wish I was in that kind of shape.
There's a lot of rumors going around that Louis Ortiz may be next for Deontay Wilder. I don't know. His Wilder's manager came out. He said he thought it would be a good fight. So, man, I'll tell you what. I don't think that's a great fight for Wilder. I don't think it is, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
Look, I think we have two vulnerable heavyweight champions right now. One being Deontay Wilder, the other being Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
And Louis Ortiz, the one thing he can do is put somebody's lights out. The only problem is, going back to the argument we had with the PBC argument a few minutes ago, here's another guy that has not been very active. You know, but the one thing that Louis Ortiz can do is punch. And if I'm Deontay Wilder, if I want to hang on to that belt, I don't know if I sign that fight, because I think Wilder is ripe for the picking. And I think if anybody can get him in the ring, they've got a good shot at beating him if they got any kind of skill at all.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I'm not even so concerned about Ortiz's power as his boxing ability. I think that's what's gonna end up, you know, bedeviling Wilder in the long run is his boxing ability. Because maybe Wilder can take a shot and Wilder can deliver a shot, but you saw Gerald Washington giving him problems for the first couple rounds in that fight, man.
Yeah, for the first 4 rounds at least. You know. Yeah.
So.
I don't know, Beeb, you're better at breaking down fights than anybody else. What do you think about this possible matchup? I think it's bad news for Wilder.
I think it's a fight that should happen, though, because people keep criticizing Deontay Wilder about his level of opposition. And now that he wants to fight other top heavyweights, people are still criticizing him. Because now the criticism is, why did you wait so long? Who cares? I mean, as long as he's going to do it, I'm just happy to get the great fights. But you know what? But the thing about Luis Ortiz is he's a great counterpuncher, and you know he's very crafty. He's got that sneaky type power. Hit you with that shot you're not ready for, that you don't see. But he's going to be punching up at Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is a very, very aggressive guy. It's definitely a dangerous fight, don't get me wrong, but it's a fight that I would still favor Wilder in. I really would, because Ortiz, a lot of times he just lays back there. He's a little bit too patient. Sometimes, as I said, you got to create your own offense, and he just waits and waits and waits and waits. And Deontay Wilder does lunge in sometimes, can make mistakes, but you know, he still has that eraser of a right hand. And that right hand is a southpaw's Achilles heel. And it's hard to imagine him not landing one of those shots against Luis Ortiz. Dangerous fight, but I would kind of roll with Wilder, because Wilder's youth, his aggression, and he does have a good jab. His jab is a very deceptive, pesky type punch that he really uses to camouflage that right hand very well. Knocks guys off balance with it. So it's one thing that I think he's improved upon immensely, is his jab, because he throws it, switches up, you know, the manner in which he throws it. Before it was just a pawing jab all the time, and it just looked almost like a bow and arrow, just sitting there like this, cocking that right hand. He has improved a little bit offensively. Still hasn't tightened things up as defensively as I'd like to see him do. But you know, because he's gotten so much better offensively, you know, because he's learned how to shorten up that right hand, because he's learned how to throw that right hand in different variety of ways with that right hand. And Luis Ortiz, with the low output that he has, sometimes he's a little bit too methodical, a little bit too slow paced. I think Deontay Wilder could take advantage of that. So, yeah, dangerous fight, but I think Wilder would win that one.
I don't know.
38 years old too. 38 years old.
Is he 38? He is 38, isn't he? Yeah, that.
Yeah, he didn't look great in his last fight. You know what I mean?
Look, I've never been that impressed with him, but I think he has the tools to beat Wilder. Yeah. You know what I mean? He has the tools. Whether he goes out and does it or not, I don't know, but I know it's a dangerous fight for him. Put it that way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big one.
I'm riding with Wilder in that one though.
There you go. Canelo Alvarez began training camp this week, and he's in San Diego, sunny San Diego, for his upcoming fight against Canelo Alvarez, or against Triple G rather. So there you go. The World Boxing Super Series tournament starts September 16th, and that is going to include the first fight is going to be Callum Smith and Eric Skoglund. Eric Skoglund. And that'll be in Liverpool in the UK, Beeb's stomping grounds. And Frank Galarza signs with Main Events. So there you go. That is your news. 773, who just came in right under the buzzer. 773, you're live.
Oh, hey, guys. It's Dale in Chicago.
Dale, what's happening?
What's going on, guys? Hey, honestly, I was just listening. I was just tuning in.
Oh, okay.
Super late.
All right, no problem.
So I missed the whole freaking thing. So.
Gotcha. All right, man.
I am excited for Broner and Garcia. So
there you go. Hey, we are too. Who do you like in that one?
You know, I haven't given it too much thought, and I know initially Garcia all day, right? My initial thought. You know, no offense to you, Eric, Cincinnati. But man, some of the stories I've been hearing about Broner training out in Colorado, you know, I guess sounds like he's taking it really seriously.
Yep.
He's, you know, really getting at it. So who knows? This is going to be great either way. I think I'm still going to go with my first gut instinct of Mikey. He's just, you know, I mean, ever since he's come back, man, dude's been taking care of business. Granted, maybe he hasn't had a test like Broner, though, yet. So I'm excited either way. Still going to lean Mikey by decision, probably, though.
There you go.
I'm not seeing the stoppage. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I don't think he stops him. Either way, I don't think he stops him.
There you go. What's that?
I said I don't think he stops him either way. I don't think even if he wins, he doesn't stop him.
It's gonna be a vicious knockout.
It's gonna be a vicious. It's gonna be a vicious pie in the face. That's what it's gonna be. Vicious Boston cream bounce off your forehead. Bam.
What did I said, guys? I came in super late. I didn't even press one, so this is a total, you know, surprise. But I just want to see if you guys are still on. So you were.
There you go.
What did you guys say?
I'm taking Broner, of course. Beeb's taking Garcia.
Sure.
Robbie's taking Garcia.
Titletown.
So right, exactly. Titletown. You gotta love it. So me and Beeb have a bet. Beeb says it's going to be that Garcia is going to knock him out in about the 9th or 10th round, and I said there's no way he's going to knock him out. So we have a bet. So if he doesn't knock out Broner, which he won't, so you tune in next Sunday and see Beeb getting a pie splashed all over his face.
All right, we'll see.
Or Eric.
I like it. All right.
Come
well,
on, you know,
I
don't lose the bet.
Feeling
son.
better about my Mikey pick then. All right.
You know,
Or Eric.
You know, if I lose, you know, I'm going to do a Corey on the bet. You know, I'm not taking that bet, son.
Gonna have a robot for a host next week.
That's right.
Gonna have the blog talk girl host the show.
I'm gonna call Wood, have him sit in.
There you go. You're gonna not host for 5 weeks straight.
That's right.
You're gonna hear anything and know what's going on.
I know. Me and Beeb will run the show. It's all right. It's all right.
There you go.
Wood will be pulling
You're
double duty with his
capable.
podcast and mine. You know.
Oh,
that was a trip. All right, Dale. Anything else?
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
man.
Thank you for calling, man. Thank you for tracking us down. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Yeah. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert, or you can call Ringside Robbie's Corner at 917-259-1810. Leave him a message. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find his YouTube channel at beatingtheoddswithbeeb.com. I'm at Ringside 73, and we will see you next week.